playoffs right here, right now. So let's start by introducing our teams here on the Radiant side. For Canton, it's going to be PMA Dota playing Ogre Magi. We've got Keeper the Light. He's going to be handled by Dragon 58902. Axe in the offlane is going to be enough. We've got Terrorblade. He's going to be going down to the bottom lane. He's got an interesting sponsor there. We're going to call him Will for Zoo. And OG in the mid lane is going to be Jericho. Meanwhile, on Princeton High School side, we've got a Magnus being handled by The Big. Vengeful Spirit, that's going to be Candle V. Right next to him, Hipporit is going to be playing the Juggernaut. Lion will be handled by Crapton Fabulo. And then finally, Abaddon is played by a crap ton of X's. So, fixing the binding controls there as we get into our match. And we can take a quick look right now at the laning assignments for Canton High School. So they're going to be putting the Cuddle and the Ogre Magi at bottom. And Ogre Magi starting it off with a couple of clarities. So he obviously wants to... really wants to put out a lot of harass with the Ignite to start. And he hasn't decided to go for Boots or the Orb of Venom or the Wind Lace. Possibly speaking to the nerfs to the items, but also possibly speaking to the fact that he's really been giving a lot to his team so far. And they have some nice early wards out, one near the mid lane and one giving them a huge amount of vision of the off lane. Magnus in the mid lane, it really shouldn't be too much of a problem for him to do well. I think the only real question is how much enough gets harassed out, and you see those supports already moving to try to harass him out of the lane, but they should know that he's gone inside the jungle with this deep offlane ward that they've placed down, so they might actually decide to go and try to harass him out of that, but he's already getting some very valuable time inside the jungle and getting through his first camp, so I probably would have liked to see Princeton get over there a bit sooner, especially if they have such great vision over that lane. But it does mean that the Juggernaut is basically going to free farm for this early game. And the supports can be free to rotate and put some pressure on the other parts of the map. Jericho is going to be going through the river right now. There's not a whole lot for him to find over here. And he does have an Astral Imprison available to get rid of the Vengeful Spirit for a couple of seconds. But he definitely wants to... try to do as much farming in that lane as possible, and with the Vengeful Spirit being there, it's going to be really difficult, alongside the fact that Magnus with the early level into Empower and a couple of sticks to his name is going to be last hitting these creeps pretty well. So PMA Dota continues to make it so that Abaddon is not going to be finding any levels in this lane at all. And while Princeton High School are electing to have their supports rotate a little bit more, instead Canton are continuing to put pressure on the Abaddon, making sure that he doesn't get up to level 2 at all. Now, Abaddon is a pretty good pickup against the Ogre Magi, since he can just take the Ignite off of himself with the Aphotic Shield, and they're actually going to go and try to find him right now, but it's a little bit far for Will for Zoo to try to go for, so he's just going to let the Abaddon get into the trees and maybe get up his level 2 pretty soon. He's trying to get it from this creep here, and he does manage to do so, so he's going to be picking up the Curse of Avernus. That's kind of interesting to me. Some Abaddons would choose to go for the levels in the Mist Coil in case they start to get a little bit low. That is a way that you can deny yourself and make sure that the enemy team doesn't get anything from that kill. Oh man, actually the Abaddon is going to get hit with the Metamorphosis, and PMA Dota, I think he did use the Ignite, which was taken off by the Abaddon, and that's just what allows the Abaddon to be so survivable there. And it's only a level 1 into the Aphotic Shield, but I think... No, he didn't TP out of there. I don't really think he was in too much danger there. So the Abaddon will continue to stay alive at bottom, and the first Metamorphosis for Terrorblade is not going to result in a kill, which is a bit of a win for the Abaddon. It means that he can continue to be a little bit aggressive here. even though he does have to be worried about the Ogre coming through, and you can see PMA Dota really wants to keep that pressure up in the lane. Still, I think that Canton are getting a lot out of this one. They're allowing the Keeper of the Light to farm inside the jungle, continue to be as effective as possible with that. Kind of similar to a Crystal Maiden, but just slightly different when it comes to the farming. And also a bit more creepier with the Coddle. I wouldn't say that Crystal Maiden is creepy in any sense of the word. Yeah, can't say I would either. I mean, that's... I don't know. On second thought, like, I really don't think she's creepy at all. There's absolutely... It's just a whole lot of innocence around that hero. But, not too much innocence at all around the Keeper of the Light. He knows some stuff. Definitely not to be trusted. PMA Dota wants to try to go on to XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX or a double rotation by the supports. So they are going to continue to waste time around the map. It's a bit unfortunate. I mean, they are putting pressure on the OD, but he's still doing fairly well in lane. Just 2 last hits behind the mag, and Coddle picks up the regen, immediately canceled by Lion, though. They're going to get turned into a frog. We've got the magic missile coming in from the Vengeful Spirit, but they can't find the Coddle just yet. He's going to salve back up, and with the low range that Vengeful Spirit has and the auto attacks, they're not going to be able to find the Coddle at all. She gets the words delivered, puts him on the high ground, but that's all that Princeton are going to be able to take out of that engagement. And the Tower Blade continues to farm up like a lark. Pretty happy. We'll get hit by a magic missile. You see how little damage it does here. And he gets angry at the Vengeful Spirit. He starts to go in. Fire blast out. There's the... Oh, come on. What is it called? Reflection. Got it, baby. I didn't even look. You saw I didn't even look. Alright. Because who plays Terror Blade, honestly? Jericho still wants to continue to farm on mid, but right now these lanes are actually kind of close, except for the Axe. The Axe has clearly gotten a lot more out of his lane, the Abaddon, and you can see he's at the Tranquil Boots right now. A little bit more move speed on that one. You can build him up with the Wind Lace instead of the Ring of Protection, changed in the most recent update. And so he gets a little bit more move speed with that. I actually kind of like the change to it. And those Arcane Orbs taking the intelligence away from Candlebeam, making it so that he really has no chance at all of being able to use a magic missile. OD with the positioning onto this one. And there's the first blood. Illuminate just absolutely crushing the Vengeful Spirit to get the first blood here to start out this bloodshed for Canton. And now Enough has also gotten enough courage to go up to the top lane. PMA Dota here to help out with the Ignite. And look how slow Hipporid is after all that. Battle Hunger and the Ignite slowing him down so much. They're doing a little bit of damage. And Enough is just enticing him to come closer and closer to that creep wave. But yeah, Hipporid is not going to bite right now. Now, in terms of... I was talking about how the Juggernaut is not necessarily a bad pickup against an OD. One thing that he does tend to struggle against is the Axe. So Axe, the call goes through the magic immunity of the Blade Fury. So even if the Juggernaut is in the Blade Fury, you can still just jump in with the Blink, call that SOB. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on stream. And keep him there while the rest of your team does damage to him. Most notably in this case, the Terror Blade, who again can be buffed up by Ogre Magi's Bloodlust and do a huge amount of damage with the Metamorphosis, as long as he's not being controlled up elsewhere. Yeah, this overlay, I don't even know what's going on with it. It just looks so strange. But it looks like these players are ready to get started once again. A couple pauses in these games. But here we go. We're going to have PMA Dota following up to Candle. And enough just going so fast right now with the Bloodlust and the Tranquil Boost. Going to get the call off onto the Vengeful Spirit. We'll throw in a Fire Blast there as well. Dunked into the ground. Enough just slams that axe down and splits the Vengeful Spirit right into two. That is not a pretty sight to behold. And, well, he's going to be pretty happy with that one. Getting a little bit more gold for himself. You can see about 1,200 gold right now. So he's gotten a pretty good start to this match, and he's going to give a little bit of space to PMA Dota over on the top side as well, as he can continue to farm inside the jungle. Ogre Magi kind of tanky, so oh man, Magnus so scared of OG in mid. But going back to the point of that, Ogre Magi pretty tanky, and there was a time when he actually used to be played as an offlaner back when the Aghanim Scepter was thought to be extremely strong. Now you don't really see players picking it up so much. It's more of a pub build when people are bored or something. Like, I can have 2 stuns as an ogre. That's great. Not really played as much anymore. And especially not in the offlane. Like, if I told some guy that I was going to go ogre in the offlane, he'd probably laugh in my face and report me. I'm getting a little PTSD from that. But we're seeing those last hits really start to stack up for the teams. 58 last hits on both the Juggernaut and Terrorblade, so that just goes to show how close these guys are. But again, Abaddon just lagging really far behind, and you start to see those Canton High School players a little bit more mechanically skilled at the top of the last hits there, or at least dealing with their matchups a little bit better here. Enough just knew that he didn't really want to contest the lane too much, so he goes immediately into the jungle and got a lot of farm out of it. Looking for the Battle Hunger. Nice double stun on the Earth Spike from Lion. And the Magic Missile is also going to keep PMA Dota away from this one, meaning that Ogre Magi and Axe cannot go any further onto the Princeton Heroes. And now is about as good a time as ever to take a look at their net worth, and we see that Terrorblade is currently at the top of it, about a 200 net worth lead over the Juggernaut right now. And OD, that's a very interesting build from him. So he's deciding to get a little bit defensive right now. I'm going for the 4-staff before the power treads, or some ODs you would see go for a Hand of Midas. He's not going for that either, as it was changed slightly to give less XP and more gold. That makes a little bit more sense considering how effective talents can be in this game right now. Man, Will for Zoo, I mean, he could definitely man fight this Abaddon if he really wanted to. Because, honestly, in a fight, Will for Zoo is going to be doing huge amounts of damage there. He's picked up 1 Blade of Alacrity, got a Quelling Blade, Magic Wands. I mean, he's pretty tanky, but the Magnus is going to make life very difficult for this Terrorblade. He's going to go with the Skewer, but decides not to take out the Rage with the RP. And now, Will for Zoo comes in with a Reflection, and just immediately goes to farming the creep wave. Does get a little bit of support from Enough as well, who has pulled up his Blink Dagger. This could be a terrible fight for Princeton, but oh, I don't even think they saw the Axe there. They're just going to back up for now. But he's still going to stay here, not showing his Blink Dagger just yet. Looks like we are having a couple of more connection problems, but honestly, Princeton dodging a bit of a bullet down here. I mean, you can definitely jump on the Abaddon. Yeah, you could definitely jump on the Abaddon, but he's got the borrowed time to keep him back up, so there's always that chance that he just manages to finagle his way out of a bad situation with the aphotic shield and the another aphotic shield and the borrowed time. But Terrorblade should be able to deal with that pretty well. So we'll see if they're able to actually go on to him. Meanwhile, at top Hipporit, he's going to be contested now by the Terrorblade. He's going to go into the lane and will be helped out by PMA Dota. Still not showing the Blink Dagger onto the Axe, and he is making his way over to mid. Really wants to take advantage of that, but he's not bought out a smoke yet. And And Jericho is still having as good a time as any on the mid lane. Meanwhile, at top, we could have PMA Dota trying to put some pressure on the Hipporyt, but it's just going to be a metamorphosis. Jesus, that word is hard to say. Going for a tier 1 tower. Wilfrezu moving forward, and Hipporyt will take a little bit of damage from it. Does have to be a little bit worried, especially with the presence of Sunder from Wilfrezu. He has leveled that up as well. This is going to be a huge rotation. There's a blink into call from Enough. He's going to pull them right back into the Canton squad. First kill out on a Hipporyt before he can even do anything. And now Captain Fabulo trying to get away. He's not going to be able to. Double kill for Wilfrezu, and they're looking for a little bit more as well. Blink, call, another kill going the way of Canton High School. Enough spinning before he can even get the Culling Blade out. And it's a triple on the top lane for Canton, and they'll get the tower as well. Easy peasy for them. It's just excellent positioning from Enough and a beautiful blink call into 2. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we're going to have the skewer into an RP out onto Jericho. He's going to try to turn it around. He has the... Where's the Sandy's Eclipse? He actually doesn't even have that leveled, but did he put enough damage onto the Magnus? Answer is no. He's going to get out of that Astral Prism. Very low health, but not enough to go down. Now PMA Dota will make his way over to the mid lane. There's a blink into a call. Now Juggernaut in some trouble. Arcane Orbs coming through. The Illumina was there, but not enough damage to kill Hipporyt. Just a little bit much for them, and the positioning wasn't there from Canton in order to find another kill, but they continue to press their advantage here, and they're going to go and Shrine up right now, so I don't really think that this push on the mid lane is over anytime soon. And taking a look at Dragon's build, he's actually very well on his way to an Aghanim Scepter. All that time in the jungle has definitely paid off for him, and he's about halfway there right now. Of course, that means that most of the supporting role is put onto PMA Dota as he's picking up all of the wards. He's got some raindrops on himself. He's got some smokes as well. And he's really putting in the work to make sure that his team has some vision. And Axe Illusion is making life pretty difficult for Princeton at top. We still have the Axe just lying in wait at the mid lane. What's his vision like? They don't really see too much behind the tower where the big is still waiting. The shockwave gets thrown out. Does Enough decide to go anytime soon? He's going to go. Doesn't throw out the blink. I mean the call. Does blink in there, but he's going to get himself out of any kind of trouble right quickly. And he's just waiting for that next blink to come off cooldown. The big knows exactly where that's coming from. He's got his way all the way through here with the Iron Talon. Where's that vision? He sees a little bit. There's a blink. There's a call. OG looking for a little bit more. He's going to take the line out of the fight, and there is no RP available at all. And now they get the call. They'll get the movement speed to go around. OG still moving so quickly with the Bloodlust. Her spike onto literally nothing by Captain Fabulo, and he definitely is going to be really low after that Astral Prison. Nearly taken down, turns the Ogre into a frog real quick, but it doesn't really mean anything at all. The line's going to fall anyway. Now Candlebeat trying to get away. It's not going to happen at all. Jericho finds another kill as XXXXXX. All he can find is a bounty rune. A bit unfortunate for him as Princeton have not gotten a kill yet on the board, but you know, they definitely could try to make some kind of stand at the high ground. Still waiting on a blink dagger for the Magnus. His last death there is going to delay it a little bit, and Enough. Oh no, they always have to be worried about that blink call. He's been really good with them so far, and just taking advantage of every single opportunity that he gets. And the Magnus is going to continue to throw out those shockwaves. When is that kill going to come through, though? Canton take the tower, and they'll immediately back up and push the other lanes that they have out. So now is as good a time as any to look at our XP graph. 7,500 in favor of Canton at this point, and the net worth is 10,000 as well in favor of the rating. So they're getting a pretty big advantage, and they want to try to get that blink into the call. Can they go fast enough? Lobster, well, okay, I fell into that trap, but so did the Juggernaut as he gets caught out at top. Was trying to push that tier 1 tower a bit too hard, and he pays the price. So they're going to take the carry off the map for a little bit longer, and unfortunate for him that he's not going to be able to continue to get his farm going. He does have a Yasha looking for a Manta style, but yeah, with the rate things are going, I don't really see that happening anytime soon. The courier just flies over the Magnus, and he's moving pretty fast here with a haste rune, looking to take that chicken down, but he's not going to be able to find it. Now he wants to go in the mid lane. Doesn't even have his blink dagger, but he really wants to get somebody here, but he doesn't quite get the range that he needs to. And now we see all 3 top spots in the net worth filled by those Canton players. OG, he's working towards his Dragonlance for a Hurricane Pike. And where the Juggernaut is having a lot of trouble building his Manta style, The Terrorblade has his already built up, just needs to get the recipe delivered on the courier. So right now Canton looking pretty strong, and they're going to use yet another Metamorphosis. Look how huge this guy is. I really don't want the game to crash, but I want to go into showcase mode just to show you how huge this guy is with the Bloodlust. I mean, you go into Metamorphosis, you get a big model. You get the Bloodlust, you get an even bigger model. And if you get a BKB, you become this huge monstrosity of a Terrorblade. And it would definitely be interesting to look at that in VR. But at least the Abaddon does now have a Vlad's should help him with survivability along with the rest of his team. But is it going to be enough? Who is going to TP over the top as the rest of his team are able to take down a second tier 2 tower very quickly with the Bloodlust, just increasing the attack speed and the move speed enough to very quickly take down those towers. We're also going to see an Ancients play coming from Wolferzu as the Metamorphosis does end, and I would imagine that when that next Metamorphosis comes up in 80 seconds, they could definitely go for a Roshan, could go for the tier 2 tower, but right now a lot of the options belong to Canton High School, as they have not given up a death at all in this match. Enough continues to move around. He's actually building up a Shadow Blade. Interesting from him. He's got his Blade Mail picked up as well. And he's going to force Abaddon out of his own jungle. I was scouted out coming over from this Dire Observer. Taking a look at the vision, we do see a little bit at mid for Princeton. We see one over at the Banner Rune spot. And there's one over at bottom as well. Meanwhile, on the Radiant side, very deep wards. Getting a lot of vision on the Dire side, and making it difficult for them to safely move around, especially with as far ahead as the Canton High School heroes are. Smoke out. Princeton High School want to try to make some kind of a play. X. I'm not even going to bother counting those. He's going to be making his way top. See if they can get in here. There is a Blink Dagger on the Magnus. What can their initiation be? Their vision sees the OD. This has to be the target. RP onto him. Can they get anything else? There's the Hex, but now we have a beautiful 4-man call by the Axe on the 4. Already said that, and now he's going to be fingered, but that's just more than enough space for Canton High School. They will put the Astron Prism on the Abaddon while he had the borrowed time going, but actually looks like Princeton High School are actually coming out on a little bit further on top of this fight than you might think. Hipporit trying to make his way over there, looking for the Coddle. PMA trying to get his way out. Is he actually going to be making it? No, the A5 shield breaks, and that's going to secure the kill onto the Ogre Magi. Now they just need one more. A Blinding Light will enforce them all back, but Hipporit still wants to try to chase this down, doing a little bit of damage with the Illuminate. But while all this is happening, terrible news in the Princeton base. They've got a Metamorphosed Wild Furzu just taking these heroes down, taking the ranks as well. The spin is going to come through. Abaddon into the fight. Well, Furzu doesn't get a chance to use Asunder, and that is going to secure the death for Princeton High School. Actually not a bad hold. They don't lose their Rex, do lose a tier 3 tower, and they get a pretty good fight as well. But the only question is the next fight going to be so lucky for them? They did take the OD a little, quite low very quickly at the beginning of that fight, and made it really difficult for him to put out the huge damage that he's capable of. And the Terrorblade, of course, wasn't really helping at all there either. He was eating some towers alive, and did eat a tier 3 tower, but he didn't find any racks. So in the end, I think that it has to be better from both teams in a couple of different ways, where Princeton High School, they need to lose less, need to get those items up and continue to have good initiations. And Canton, they need to work a little bit more together as a team and not get caught out just in the middle of the lane as an OD. But with that being said, both teams trying to make their way through this match. Canton obviously with a pretty big advantage still, even after that last fight. 10,000 on the net worth.
I'll take that as tribute.
But they got to keep that farm going, and I don't know if Dragon is going to allow Abaddon to keep up this farming ways. He's going to get over here. Where's the vision? He's going to see them. Astron Prison's going to keep him there. That means they don't have Astron Prison for the borrowed time. Illuminate comes through. Good timing. Abaddon's going to be taking a lot of damage here. Pops the borrowed time to get away from the Mana Leak. But now Vengeful Spirit with the swap is going to get hit by the Illuminate. And that's going to be the first kill going the way of Canton High School. So they take one out of that one. Not the Abaddon who they were trying to get. But they did have to pop a lot to try to stop that. And now that's also going to secure a shrine for themselves. So we'll be picking up one of those off the map, giving themselves a little bit of gold. And okay, well, we just completely missed that one. Hypocrite doing the dirty to Axe. And now uses the healing word to try to get away. It's going to be enough to get away from PMA Dota. Could not throw out the Fire Blast. Just did not have the range for it at all. Do they go into Magnus? Magnus, no, he goes to the high ground. That's not where you want to be. He catches out Wilferzu, and he doesn't have any mana at all. Was it an RP? No, he didn't have the chance to get it off at all. And with the Metamorphosis, I would imagine that Canton High School will decide to make a play for this bottom tower. And Jericho moving up as well. He's still got a Series Eclipse. This is a really good fight if Canton High School can even kind of entice Princeton to engage here. Magic miss out. Astro Princeton's going to keep the Vengeful Spirit there. She does have a swap. She's going to get a little bit low. Earthspike onto the Terrorblade, turned into a frog. He's going to get a nice Force Staff out by Jericho, though, and doesn't get a chance to throw out Asunder. Just does use the Mantis out. And now here comes the Axe back once again with a call, but our time already popped by Abaddon. He's taking a little bit of damage here. Oh, Series Eclipse is going to take the line super low, eventually killing him with the auto attack. That's the first full set of racks of the game going the way of Canton High School. They're going to smoke and almost back out, just thinking a couple of elusions over to mid. Wilferzu goes over and immediately starts clearing that lane so that the Tier 2 tower is not threatened at all. And with that, Canton High School, they just take advantage of Princeton having those heroes down and take away a full set of racks so they can have the advantage on the lane creeps, as well as start to put their eyes onto other lanes at all. It also helps that the lane of racks taken was in the bottom lane, so it happens to be the lane furthest away from the Roshan pit for the Dire side, so it definitely hurts him quite a bit. And now Axe with the Shadow Blade goes right in onto Hypocrite. He's getting him low with the Blade Mail. There's no Omni Slash is going to keep the Juggernaut up, and he turns it around once again. I'm getting way too excited. Can barely get the words out of my mouth about how the Juggernaut just once again sailed right on top of the Axe rather for the second time this game. And I think those were the only times that the Axe died. Let me check real quick. Nope, Axe died 3 times. How unfortunate. So, OD not really the hero that you expect to be going for a shrine alone, but there is a Blink RP available from the big, and they're going to go for RP. No! And he actually did use that. Oh, no. That is terrible. And now this high ground is going to be really weak from Princeton High School. They don't have the RP for another 120 seconds. That's really where those nerfs starts to hit you, especially if you can't actually use those cooldowns. But Canton High School, they're going to play it cool. I would imagine they go right for a Roshan right now, especially with the Axe getting up. And the question is, what exactly can Princeton do about this? Sure, they could go over to the pit, but they don't have RP any longer. And it's also daytime for another 3 minutes, so this is an excellent time for Canton to take the Roshan and push into the base, because they have an Aghanim Scepter on Coddle, have had for quite a few minutes actually. You could see that Coddle was playing with that for quite a bit this game, and with that they are going to take a Roshan and should be able to turn that into some more aggression onto the Dire side base. And there are no tier 2 towers up either as well, so this could be a clean sweep by Canton High School. Dota leading the way down the mid lane. Enough is going to be looking for another one of his beautiful blink calls. He had some great ones. We saw the 4-man call at top earlier. Can he get something as good this time around? Or will Princeton High School actually be able to hold? RP up in 30 seconds, so they still have a little bit more time before they're at their full strength, and I don't know if they're going to get that chance at all. Wilferzu going right onto a tier 3 tower. The big, you can tell that he wants to go, but he doesn't have RP. Now Terrorblade with the Scotty. Enough goes in with the blink call, and yeah, OD is just going ham now. Nice air spike out on the 2 by Captain Fabio, who hasn't died just yet, but Will Zoo wants to continue to try to fight this one. He's got the Scotty, he's got some tankiness, he's going right for the tower, and that's going to be a GG called. Another double call by the Axe. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot that can stand in the way of Canton High School right now, easily taking game number 1 in 27 minutes. Behind an excellent performance from most of the team, but Princeton High School, they did have some good moments in there, just not really enough to secure themselves a victory. So with that being said, that's going to be game number 1 going the way of Canton High School, and I guess the only question left is this momentum going to continue into game number 2? I'll find out, you'll find out in just a few moments, guys. This is the High School Star League Dota 2 playoffs. I'm Pithy Legume, and we'll be right back in just a moment.